Alright, so here we go with the Type 64, the Taiwanese light tank tier 6. It's in the Chinese tech tree. So it's a Chinese premium tank for that. As you can see, it's basically a Hellcat. You can have the light tank chassis with a Hellcat turret and this nice little gun, 76mm gun, 128 penetration. It's pretty decent for a light tank, I'd say. Although, since it's not a tank destroyer but a light tank, you also get the scout matchmaking. So, you might want to take a few APCR rounds with you. Now, this is a tier 7 match with this tank, which is pretty awesome. Gun can basically penetrate everything it meets, and the damage is alright too on this tier. Upper tiers, well, it has the speed and the camo to not really care about the upper tiers, so there you go. Always things to do. Can scout easily. As you can see, there's a little bit of delay here for me, and there we go. So, as always, going through the middle, using the speed here to get up with the time a little bit. I'm playing a little bit aggressive because I want to test the gun a lot this time around. Going after this guy here, taking a few nice shots on him. Accuracy on the move is alright, not great, but it works really pretty well, I'd say. There we go, taking a hit. Removing my own presence. You won't see much scouting in this battle. Obviously, I don't think this map is really good for passive scouting. I'm doing the usual thing. Getting nice shots. So, I would say, aside from scouting, because I'm pretty sure this tank will be really nice for scouting. Light tank, really good speed, really good maneuverability. A decent gun, I'd say. Not a great gun, but a decent gun. Sounds pretty awesome to just use it as a scout too. So, should always do that and then start taking side shots. At the moment, I'm just standing here, dealing side shots, firing on enemies. Risking a little bit though. And as you can see, I'm wasting ammunition. This is the one big problem I had with this. You're gonna see this earlier. I'm gonna run out of ammunition quickly. As you can see, I already 13 AP left. Haven't touched my APCR yet, but 13 AP, still a lot of enemy tanks left. So ammunition on this tank will be a problem. As long as you use it to shoot. If you don't shoot, then obviously. If you use it as a passive scared only. Now, this pretty much shows you the mobility. I'm really bad shooting on the move here. However, I can pretty much escape every single time. There we go. Snapshot's pretty good for this too. Down to 4 AP now. I would say 9 APCR is a good amount of ammunition to take with it. Binox, Camonat and Rammer is the load that I use. Because in my opinion it's like the Hellcat. The best way to describe this tank, if you've ever played the Hellcat prior to the nerf when it was first released, this is the same thing. This is basically the Hellcat prior to being nerfed. Turret traverse is buffed by I think double the amount. The gun is only the 76mm, but that's more than enough. There we go, taking out the house. And already that reload is just awesome. That reload. Really good reload on this tank too, which is why you're gonna lose a lot of ammunition quickly. It's basically a Hellcat on the rocks, and it's basically like the Hellcat prior to the nerfs. Just awesome. If you've played the Hellcat prior to the nerfs, it was basically a light tank as a tank destroyer, and it murdered people. Now having to fire APCR, so I don't really care about aiming anymore. There we go. Typical. A real Hellcat appears. Now obviously it's a pew pew gun, so you gotta do some things differently. You don't have high alpha. To be honest, who needs alpha? Who needs alpha these days? There we go. Pretty decent battle. I think it was 2,800 damage dealt in this game. Tier 7 game. Obviously it's the test server. Obviously it's pretty much heavily this, like T-44 85s, E-25s, Stura Emil, Type 64, a couple other tanks, but mostly just new tanks or special tanks that don't really, you won't really encounter this on the live server. But it gives you a nice feeling of this tank. As a first impression, I would say it's a really good tank. If you don't have the Type 62 light tank, and you need a light tank or want a light tank, a Chinese one, for crew training and having fun, of course, then I would suggest getting the Type 64 instead of the Type 62. Because as it stands, this tank is awesome fun. The Type 62 is more like the regular Chinese tanks. Chinese tanks overall. Really bad gun depression. This tank has really good gun depression. Good speed, of course, on the Type 62, but I think this one beats it in terms of speed and maneuverability quite a lot. Obviously, there's no armor here, but really, it's a light tank. You don't need the armor. Like I said, ammunition can be a problem. I am down to 3 APCR rounds this game. I had other games where I even ran out of ammunition, but those were games where I was really doing some pretty nasty stuff, so I think it's alright. And I'm intrigued by these things. What are they? Look at them. Some cylindric objects. Are they coolers? What are they? Anyway, that's the Type 64. Pretty decent tank, I would say. I would buy it if I wouldn't have a Type 62 already. Well, see you next time.